Konoha, not a six-path immortal, just powerful. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 31 _ Legendary Ring Battle. Thinking of Uzumaki Mito, Uchiha Kage also sighed in his heart no matter the reason. He seemed to owe Uzumaki Mito a lot. Sure enough, when Mr. Hizo entered the classroom, there was a red-haired girl behind him. Uchiha Kage silently looked at the tomato girl, and then at Uchiha Makoto. Sure enough, the beautiful girl in Hokage is still the mother of the two protagonists. Uzumaki Kushina is definitely the cute type. Hello everyone, I'm Uzumaki Kushina. I'm from Vortex Village, being stared at by so many people. Uzumaki Kushina also showed a nervous look, and said stutteringly. This moment caused a lot of laughter. Even in the elite class, even if there are many people who are actually family children, they don't know anything about Uzumaki Kushina. After seeing the girl so nervous, some people will inevitably feel ridiculed. Hearing this kind of laughter, Uzumaki Kushina's face also swelled up. She mustered up the courage and said loudly, "My goal is to become Hokage." However, her words aroused ridicule from many people. A red-haired monster still wants to become Hokage? That's right, people from other villages. I don't know why the village would agree to her coming to school. The bear children were discussing. Dingswa, when did you guys with red hair become monsters? Suddenly, a voice said coldly. Those who laughed at Uzumaki Kushina stopped their mocking. Chodao Dingswa blinked a little blankly. I don't know. They said before that the cute girl is a red-haired monster, and you are also a red-haired monster. Does that mean that you are also a monster? Uchiha Kage said with a chuckle. I'm not a monster. Chodao Dingswa was instantly upset, and looked at those who laughed at Uzumaki Kushina with fierce eyes. This moment made these people shrink their necks. Uchiha Kage, they can't afford to provoke him. He is a genius in the school, he gets full marks in almost every course, and he is a member of the Uchiha family with a big family. Chodao Dingswa, they don't seem to be able to offend. This is the eldest young master of the Chodao clan. Moreover, the actual combat performance is among the best in the class. Even if it is between the two Hyuga brothers and Chodao Dingswa, it is only between 5 and 5. Rope Tree, who originally wanted to speak, also showed a surprised look after hearing Uchiha Kage speak for Uzumaki Kushina, and then showed a clear look. As expected of the Shadow, after knowing that the new classmate was bullied, he stood up for her, and indeed Uchiha Shadow was the one who inherited the will of fire. Not to mention the Rope Tree, even Uzumaki Kushina was surprised at the moment she glanced at the young man who stood up for her righteousness. Her face also showed a hint of blush. This guy is very good looking. Okay, Uzumaki Kushina, find a place to sit down, Teacher Hiratsu said to Uzumaki Kushina with a smile. Uzumaki Kushina glanced around, then looked at the vacant seat beside Uchiha Makoto, walked over and sat down. Hello, I'm Uchiha Makoto, don't care about the words of those classmates, you are actually very cute. Uchiha Makoto also said with a smile when she saw Uzumaki Kushina sitting beside her. Thank you. Uzumaki Juxina was stunned when she heard the words, and she was in a trance for a while. This girl is so cute. It seems that there are some classmates in the school who are very annoying, and there are indeed some classmates who are very good people. She looked at Uchiha Kage on the other side of Uchiha Makoto again, and found that he was reading other books at the moment. Looking at the side, this guy seems to be handsome too. Then she saw the little yellow hair next to the Rope Tree looking at her secretly, which made Uzumaki Kushina feel unhappy for a while. What does this sissy mean? I think my red hair is weird, do you want to laugh at yourself? Thinking of this, Uzumaki Kushina showed a fierce expression and looked at Minato with an unhappy face, which also made Minato quickly retract his head. This new classmate is quite cute, but he has a bad temper. It doesn't seem very good. Okay, today the teacher is going to take you to watch the ring battle of the seniors in the senior years, and there are Shanjin to watch the battle. Of course, if you want to participate, you can also participate, and if you perform well, you can get rewards. Immediately afterwards, Teacher Hiraizaka continued. His eyes stayed on Uchiha Kage, Rashu, and others for a while longer. If it was these students, maybe it could be done. Ring battle? Many students were also excited. The arena battle can be said to be the tradition of the ninja school. It is said that if you perform well, you can get guidance from powerful ninjas. They will even be accepted as disciples by those ninjas. For the vast majority of students, this is a good opportunity. If they can be accepted as disciples by those powerful ninjas, this is definitely an opportunity for them to change their lives. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 32 _ challenge from the Hinata clan. King, it is said that my sister and the others are coming over today, you have to behave well. The Rope Tree in front seemed to remember something and said to Uchiha Kage. Your sister? The corners of Uchiha Kage's mouth twitched slightly during this time. Uchiha Kage and Tsunade were familiar with the relationship between cooking for the old man and Uzumaki Mito, and even the other would often teach him. It can be said that Tsunade is Uchiha Kage's real and nameless teacher. But now I still need such an opportunity to have Tsunade instruct him in particular? Is it possible to follow Tsunade to learn medical ninjutsu? Totally unnecessary, right? After the template of his Otsutsuki Yuki has been upgraded, he has mastered the yin and yang escape. What kind of medical ninjutsu is there? And the effect of the yin and yang escape is excellent. It's not just my sister, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya will all come here, and it is said that there are other strong people in the village. Shinshu continued to add. Well, I figured it out. Uchiha Kage also nodded slightly when he heard the words, and just as he was about to get up, two cataracts came over. It was the two of them. At this moment, the head of Hyuga Rizari has been branded with the curse of the caged bird, so Uchiha Kage can still distinguish the identities of the two brothers. Yukihage, I'm going to challenge you. Hinata said in a serious tone. Why? Uchiha Kage looked at each other tangled. Hyuga Hizu was considered the strongest in the class. Apart from myself, Juki and Mikoto, I am afraid that no one can fight the Hinata brothers. Not even the current Namikaze Minato can do it. Well, with Minato Ninja entering the ninja school, his talent is revealed. He is really serious in his studies and very smart, of course. His achievements in actual combat are not very good after all. There are too many families here out students. But his theoretical results are quite good. It seems that even Sarutobi Hizen seems to be paying attention to this yellow-haired guy. It's not that the Hinata brothers did not challenge Uchiha Kage before, but they were all rejected by Uchiha Kage during the battle training class. Hiratsu-sensei did not arrange for Uchiha Kage and Hinata brothers to fight. It seems that they are deliberately avoiding. After all, one of them is from the Uchiha clan and the other is from the Hinata clan. It is inevitable that they will be used to make a fuss. Relatively speaking, the relationship between Uchiha Kage and Rashu is very good. All hits so far. The strength of the two also exceeds that of many students of the same age. Therefore, more often, as opponents of Uchiha Kage's actual combat exams, it is usually Rouge or Uchiha Mikoto. I want to prove that the Hinata clan is the strongest in Konoha. A pious look appeared on Hinata's face. It seems to be participating in some religious ceremony. Obviously, for the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Hizu has a special kind of piety. Is this a brainwashing transition? Of course, you can also refuse. I will challenge other members of the Uchiha clan. I believe that it would be even more embarrassing to lose to me if I believe in the seniors. I was about to leave with my brother. During this period of time, both Uchiha Kage and Rashu are considered to be the strongest people in the class, especially Uchiha Kage. It seems that many people regard Uchiha Kage as the first strong person in the class, even the whole class the strongest man of the age. He has the intention to defeat Uchiha Kage and prove his strength, but, every time the challenge, the other party refuses to accept it. Interesting, okay, I accept your challenge. Uchiha Kage heard a playful smile on the corner of his mouth. Before, he really wanted to hide himself and didn't want to expose his strength, but now, his strength is quite good, and Uzumaki Kushina has also come, so he may have to expose some strength. The 6-year plan at the beginning was obviously unrealistic. Name, Uchiha Kage. Age, 7. Template, Otsutsuki Yuki, 283%. Chakra volume, 58 calories. Physical skill level, joinin. Ninjutsu, Shaking Will Eye Magic, Strange Power, Huaduanhao Fireball, Fengxian Fire Technique, Dragon Fire Technique. Comprehensive Strength, your strength is considered a strong one among the Shainin. If you only use ninjutsu, you will be caught off guard, enough to make the elite Shainin collapse. However, your physical fitness still limits your performance, so work hard to develop. After more than a year of hard training, Uchiha Kage's strength has also been greatly improved. It is only the amount of chakra. He is definitely the first person in Konoha at present, and it can even be said that he is the first person in the entire ninja world. Even the old Madara Uchiha and Uzumaki Mido can't compare to him in terms of chakra. Of course, in the case of Uzumaki Mido, the premise is that the 9-tailed chakra is not used. Even the average tailed beast, in terms of the amount of chakra, is probably not as much as Uchiha Shadow. The 12-year-old Naruto has a 100-calorie chakra volume because he is the reincarnation of Azura. Uzumaki Mido doesn't have that kind of treatment. If it's just her chakra, Uzumaki Mido may have more than 10 calories at its peak, but as she gets older, her chakra also begins to decrease, but because of the whirlpool with the special physique of a family, she can still suppress the 9 tails D. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 33 Fuyue is the first genius? Uchiha Kage didn't want to expose his strength prematurely. After all, neither Konoha nor other villages wanted to see the birth of a super genius. But now, he feels that it is almost the same, and now he has just passed his 7th birthday. At the current ninja school, the youngest graduation age was created by Orochimaru, 6 years old. Of course, Tsunade and Jiraiya also graduated at the same time, but they were several months older than Orochimaru. Under such circumstances, the 7-year-old self-possessed the strength of Genin. Shouldn't this be a problem? And he is not only taught by the Uchiha clan, but also taught by Uzumaki Mito and Tsunade. Under such circumstances, the 7-year-old himself has the strength comparable to the Chunin, which seems to be a matter of course. Orochimaru and the others also became Chunin at the age of 7. Of course, there will be a guy in the future who will be even more perverted. He will graduate at the age of 5 and will be a Chunin at the age of 6. In fact, it is not only Uchiha Kage who has the ability to graduate in this class. Rope tree, brother Hyuga, Jinrua, water, resources? Source, group, 6, 5:6, 6, 1 foot 8 inches 8, 9 6. Use, turn, group. 7. 6, 6 inch 0, 1, 8 foot 3, 2. The threshold for early graduation, but everyone seems to have no such plans. Take it lightly. Rouge gave a sympathetic look at Hyuga Hizu, and then reminded Uchiha Kage. Others don't know Uchiha Kage's true strength. Can Rashu still not understand it? Hyuga Hizu is definitely not an opponent. Even according to my sister's speculation, Uchiha Kage's strength has reached the level of Chunin. Of course, this is just what Uchiha Kage wants to let everyone know. They have never seen Uchiha Kage who uses a sword at the moment. Is Uchiha Kage strong? At this time, Uzumaki Kushina asked Mikoto curiously. She has also heard of the Uchiha family, the big family of Konoha. Not now. Uchiha Kage seems to be very popular. That's natural. Mikoto raised her head when she mentioned Uchiha Kage, as if we were good friends. As long as you praised Uchiha Kage, Kage is the strongest. Is that so? Uzumaki Kushina showed a thoughtful look. When a few people came to the training ground, there were already many senior students fighting. In one of the venues, Uchiha Kage saw a familiar figure, Uchiha Fugaku. That guy is a few years older than Uchiha Kage, and his strength is quite good. As the father of the dutiful son and Urtsuzi in the future, or the few existences who can open the kaleidoscope riding wheel, how can Uchiha Fuyua's strength be too bad? One thing to say, in fact, at the beginning, Uchiha Kage thought that he might need to have a face-to-face with the other party. After all, many novels say that Fuyua fell in love with Mikoto, who was only 5 or 6 years old, and then the other party will come to block his door. Get yourself out of Mikoto or something. It's just a pity that none of these things happened. Uchiha Fuyua is obviously not having such a big psychological problem, and in Uchiha Shadow, the marriage of Fuyua and Mikoto in the original book seems to be more like a kind of political marriage. In the Uchiha family, you are not the son of the patriarch, but the future patriarch. Didn't you see that Uchiha Itachi was still targeted by the Uchiha family? Strength is the key to everything. Of course, the son of the patriarch can bring him a lot of bonuses if he gets the support of most people. It is also possible. Uchiha Hideki, who is now the representative of the Uchiha family's doves, is indeed a worthy target. But now, Uchiha Kage is doing well, and Mikoto is a childhood sweetheart, and Hideki's brain is not rusted, so naturally he will not arrange a political marriage for his daughter. As for the marriage partner of Uchiha Fuyua, there are actually quite a few in the Uchiha family. The granddaughter of the great elder is his classmate. At this moment, Uchiha Fuyua is fighting with a member of the Inuzuka clan, but it can be clearly seen that the opponent was pressed and beaten by Uchiha Fuyua throughout the whole process. The strength gap between the two sides is still huge. Similarly, Uchiha Kage still saw another person he was familiar with, Sarutobi Shinosuke. Sarutobi Hizen's son. Because of their father's relationship, they are also acquaintances. Shinosuke did not play at the moment, but stood on the field next to Uchiha Fugaku, staring at Uchiha Fuyua, a little eager to try. Obviously, he also regards Uchiha Fugaku as his goal. However, this has nothing to do with himself. Compared with the relationship between him and Shinosuke is more than the relationship with Fuyua. Sooner or later, he will become the patriarch of the Uchiha family. Fuyua is his competitor, and the most important thing is that Uchiha Kage suspects that the death of the mirror is related to the patriarch. Under such circumstances, how good can the relationship between Uchiha and Fuyua be? Huh? Just as Uchiha Kage was about to go up to say hello to Sarutobi Shinosuke, Uchiha Kage felt a few eyes on him, and turned to look over there, and found that there were several old acquaintances over there, is looking at himself. Tsunade, Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and a maskless Hatake Tsukumo. Episode 34 Uchiha is the strongest. I didn't expect that even he came here. Uchiha Kage nodded towards Tsunade. This is the kid I met at the beginning. I just don't know how his strength is now. I heard that you have been teaching him during this time. Jiraiya looked at Uchiha Kage thoughtfully and said. However, his eyes were on the little yellow hair not far from Uchiha Kage. Is that the kid? The teacher speaks of a very gifted child. If you can get good teaching, you will have the opportunity to grow into the mainstay of Konoha in the future. Well, don't be shocked at that time, his strength is not inferior to us at the same time. Tsunade's words set off a storm in the hearts of the three. At the same time, they were 7-year-olds at that time. They reached the level of Chunin. However, it was also achieved under the guidance of the teacher Sarutobi Hizen, and they also experienced a lot of hardships, bloody battle. But what about Kage Uchiha? He's just a kid who hasn't graduated yet. Fighting is the best way to stimulate the potential of genius. How did Kage Uchiha, who has never experienced bloody battles, do that? Aren't you joking? Zilai also asked stutteringly. If it is said that Uchiha Kage can already graduate, then Jirai also believes it, but Uchiha Kage has the strength of Chunin. Is it too exaggerated? Do you think I'll exaggerate on this matter? Tsunade sneered, and then turned to look at Uchiha Kage. One thing she didn't say was that she felt Uchiha Kage was still hiding his real strength, maybe even better than what he sees. Others may not be aware of this, but Tsunade, who often serves as Uchiha Kage's sparring partner, can see that the other party seems to be restricted by something. Or maybe he didn't want to expose his strength. Tsunade didn't care about this, and even felt relieved. After all, he was half his own disciple, wasn't he? On the contrary, Tsunade was very satisfied with Uchiha Kage's behavior, and it would be nice if Rashu could learn Uchiha Kage. That's interesting. A smile appeared on Orochimaru's face, and his eyes swept over Uchiha Kage and Rouge. If nothing else, they were his own disciples. Then let yourself see their strength and talent. Hatake Tsukumo didn't speak at the moment, just stared at Kage Uchiha. This young man, he had seen and knew that a year ago, he used illusion to hypnotize a spy Chunin. But that incident was somewhat coincidental, but this time, he felt a sword intent on Uchiha Kage's body. This young man has definitely made some achievements in swordsmanship, but he doesn't seem to come out with a sword. Otherwise, he can take a good look at him. At this time, Hyuga Hizu had already occupied a ring, looked at Uchiha Kage, who was not far away, and said loudly, "Uchiha Kage, come to fight." The eyes of the classmates were also on Uchiha Kage in this regard. Uchiha Kage touched his nose, and then his figure flashed, and he disappeared directly in place and appeared on the ring. This scene made the pupils of Uchiha Kage's classmates shrink. Such a speed is a bit too fast, right? Is this the instant body technique? Zilai also looked at Tsunade with suspicious eyes. Are all the children now so powerful? Even the instant body technique is so good? It's not an ordinary body blinking technique, it should be the special blending technique that the teacher said about Senior Jing. I remember that the teacher said that Senior Jing's body shifting technique was instructed by the second generation, not only Konoha, but the entire ninja world. There is no one who is better than Senior Kagami. When Orochimaru mentioned the purpose of the second generation, his eyes were full of longing and admiration. Compared with the first generation Hokage, Orochimaru obviously worships the second generation Hokage more. Among Konoha, almost half of the banned books were created by the second generation. Eyes on this point, Orochimaru expressed that he was ashamed. This is also the ninja he admires the most. Indeed, I have also asked Senior Kyo for advice. This is indeed like Senior Kyo's telekinesis. I didn't expect that his son seems to have inherited this kind of telekinesis at this time, Hatake Tsukumo also said. His eyes are full of admiration. Ordinary body snooping techniques are not something that ordinary people can learn generally. Those who use the blinking body technique are all joinin, let alone the advanced version surgery. Sure enough, this young man is stronger than everyone imagined. Seeing Uchiha Kage's behavior, even Hyuga Hizu's heart froze, and then said in a deep voice, "As expected of you, Uchiha Kage. But this time, the winner is me. I will prove that the Hyuga clan is the strongest." The Uchiha family is the strongest. I don't know when. Uchiha Fuyue had already appeared under the ring, and said with a cold snort. The Hyuga family? Hehe, how can you compare with their Uchiha clan? During the Warring States period, if there were no Senju clan, the Hyuga clan would have been wiped out by Madara Uchiha. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 35_easily crushed. Facing Hyuga Hizu, Uchiha Kage first formed a seal of opposition. Seeing this, Hyuga Hizu was also stunned for a moment, but she also cooperated with Uchiha Kage's seal, and then put on a soft fist start. Then play your own boxing. In the face of Hyuga Hizu's attack, Uchiha Kage didn't panic at all, and his arms kept dancing no matter where Hyuga Hizu attacked. Uchiha Kage's fist or palm could appear in that position on time, block it down. In this way, in the continuous onslaught of Hyuga and the tight defense of Uchiha Kage, the two sides quickly passed dozens of tricks. It's amazing. Is this the Hyuga clan? Uchiha Kage has no resistance at all, and can only enter into passive defense. No, I feel that Uchiha Kage is more powerful no matter how Hyuga attacked. Uchiha Kage performed with ease. It is said that Uchiha Kage already knows a lot of ninjutsu. I don't know if he will use it in this game. The battle between the two has exceeded the standard of the ninja school, which made all the classmates amazed again and again. Whether it is Uchiha Kage or Hyuga, they are all so powerful. The gap is a bit big. Orochimaru showed a lack of interest. As an elite jounin, he can naturally see that there is a clear gap between Uchiha Kage and Hyuga. This is just a showdown of taijutsu. Uchiha Kage has such strength at this time. Orochimaru also believed Tsunade's words. This young man can indeed compete with them. Uchiha Kage is indeed a genius. Tsunade's face showed a proud look. This is what he taught. It is his own half-disciple. It's just that they don't know that Uchiha Kage at the moment is fighting with Hyuga with 3 times the gravity. Otherwise, they may also see something. For a long time, the reason why Uchiha Kage has been considered by many people to see his strength is mainly because of the gravity bracelet, which has great restrictions on him, but other people can't see his true strength. It's amazing. Uzumaki Kushina looked at the battle between Uchiha Kage and Hyuga with a little daze. Whether it was Hyuga or Uchiha Kage, she had to be stronger than herself all along. She thought she was very good strong. At least in the Vortex village, there are not many children who are their opponents. But when she got to Konoha, she found that she didn't seem to be a genius. Of course, let me tell you, Kage hasn't used his full strength yet. Uchiha Makoto said with pride. It seemed that she was talking about herself. Damn it. Seeing that no matter how he attacked, no matter how fast he accelerated, he couldn't help Uchiha Kage, and Hyuga also became anxious. After another right punch, Hyuga also distanced herself from Uchiha Kage, and then made a seal with one hand. Open your eyes. Then I saw that there were blue veins all over his eyes, very hideous and terrifying. Have you opened your eyes? Uchiha Kage murmured, but it wasn't much of a surprise that Hyuga could open her eyes. Don't look at the eyes of the Hyuga clan. They usually seem to be white, but to really use the white eyes, they still need to open their eyes. The general Hyuga clan can open their eyes. This difficulty is much easier than that of the Uchiha clan. However, Hyuga Suinzu is worthy of being the eldest young master of the Hyuga clan. 6. Preparation, use. Middle, turn, group 766, 01. 8, 3-inch 2, 0. Fu is still quite good. The purity of white eyes is also quite high. Then he saw Hyuga stretched out his right index finger, made a special gesture, and pointed it towards Uchiha Kage's chest. Do you have a hole in it? Uchiha Kage's eyes narrowed, but there was not much worry after Hyuga was about to touch his own. He slapped a palm on Hyuga wrist, and when he raised his foot, he was also kicked the opponent's chest, kicked him out. Hyuga, who was caught off guard and kicked flying, also set off a storm in his heart. There is absolutely nothing wrong. The previous Uchiha Kage didn't use all his strength just like that. The opponent's speed suddenly increased a lot. Even if he opened his eyes, he seemed to be unable to keep up with the opponent. Hyuga moved his body in the air, trying to adjust his posture in the air, but before he could land on the ground, Uchiha Kage's figure had already appeared beside Hyuga, grabbed the arm of Hyuga, and moved him to the ground. He threw it straight out of the competition arena. After everything was finished in one go, Uchiha Kage did not forget to seal a seal of reconciliation. Most of the people who watched this scene were stunned. They were evenly matched before. Why did they lose so easily after Hyuga opened his eyes? Tsunade and the others understood that the gap between the two sides was simply too great. It's not a shame that Hyuga lost. His strength is already the best among his peers, but Uchiha Shadow is too evil. Not to mention Hyuga, who is about the same age as Uchiha Kage. There is no one in the entire ninja school who can compare with Uchiha Kage. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 36 _ Fighting Uchiha Kage. The face of Hyuga, who fell heavily outside the ring, turned black, and he was embarrassed by the Hyuga clan. At this time, Hyuga also clearly felt the strength of Uchiha Kage. This guy's strength is still far above his own. Just like that, Hyuga even felt that Uchiha Kage was stronger than the Chunin who used to practice soft boxing with him and Nasaba in the family. This is unacceptable for Hyuga. Combined with his previous behavior, Hyuga felt like a clown jumping up and down constantly. At this moment, he felt that everyone around him seemed to be laughing at him and wanted to leave this place of right and wrong, but considering Konoha's rules, he still had a sign of reconciliation against Uchiha. Humph, sure enough, the Hyuga clan is far from our Uchiha clan. Uchiha Fuyue folded his arms and said with a sneer. At this moment, Uchiha Kage pulled a lot of ridicule, especially the people of the Hyuga clan. They cast unhappy eyes on Uchiha Kage, but they were no less than Uchiha Fuyue. Many people frowned, although this sentence was said by Uchiha Fuyue. Uchiha Kage was somewhat affected. Even Uchiha Makoto looked at Fuyue with a look of disgust. This guy, is it intentional or just a coincidence? That's not what you said. Uchiha Kage said with a smile. In many respects, the Hyuga clan has advantages that the Uchiha clan does not have in many respects. However, the young patriarch of Fuyue, we have never discussed it before. It is said that Yuhi is the first genius of the Uchiha clan. Please enlighten me. Uchiha Kage's words made the attitude of the Hinata clan a little better. It was just the words behind that shocked everyone. What's going on? Directly fight with Uchiha Kage? Is the Uchiha clan going to fight in fighting? Competing for the position of the first genius of the Uchiha clan? Or are you dissatisfied with Uchiha Fugaku? It seems that Uchiha Kage is not going to hide. Orochimaru said with a playful look on his face. After all, the previous Uchiha Fuyue was suppressing him in disguise. According to this kid's character, he wouldn't be able to bear it. Tsunade said with a sneer. But the other party is also the son of the Uchiha clan's patriarch. Will this affect him? Whether he wins or loses, I'm afraid it will have an impact, right? Although Jiraiya didn't understand politics, he still said, Patriarch Uchiha, it's impossible to ignore this matter, right? If Patriarch Uchiha really did this, then he would fall into the inferior position instead. Tsunade sneered, do you really think the teacher and the others are vegetarians? Orochimaru also said, there is no one behind Uchiha Shadow. Maybe his influence in the Uchiha clan may still be insufficient, but as long as he defeats Uchiha Fuyue and becomes the first genius of the Uchiha clan, he will be fine. After that, if he does some work, he will also have a bargaining chip to compete with the Uchiha clan leader. He wants to be the head of the Uchiha clan? At this moment, even Tsunade was shocked. In the previous contact, she did not feel Uchiha Kage's ambition. Some things are not about whether he wants to or not, someone will push him to do it. Orochimaru's eyes flashed with wisdom. He believed that this would be what his teacher wanted to see, a Uchi who had a heart for Konoha. The Wave family is the good Uchiha family. On the other side, Uchiha Fuyue's face also became ugly. It is true that he deliberately caused trouble for Uchiha Kage before Hyuga. Hizu was not just an ordinary Hyuga clan, but also the eldest young master of the Hyuga clan, the future head of the Hyuga clan. If the relationship between Uchiha Kage and Hyuga Hizu can be made very bad, it may not be of much benefit to himself, but he still has to do it. After the previous battle, Uchiha Fuyue felt tremendous pressure on Uchiha Kage. Their Uchiha family is not the Hyuga family. With a good father, they can solve almost all problems. Strength is the most important thing. But now Uchiha Kage is about to fight against himself. Can he refuse? Absolutely not. If he refuses, he will not be able to raise his head in the future. Uchiha does not need a cowardly patriarch. Now I can only fight with Uchiha Kage. With a livid face, he stepped onto the ring. This scene also made the arena attract more attention. Uchiha Kage and Uchiha Fuyue are both famous geniuses of the Uchiha family. So which of the two is more powerful? Is it Uchiha Fuyue who is a few years older, or Uchiha Shadow with the smallest eye-opening record? In fact, there is one thing to say in this battle: even if Uchiha Kage lost the battle in the end, there seems to be no problem after all. Uchiha Kage's age is much younger than Uchiha Fuyue. At their age, a few years younger has a great impact. This time, can we win? Uzumaki Kushina looked at Uchiha Kage curiously, and said one thing: Uchiha Kage is really handsome in battle. It was easy to defeat the opponent just now, so what about this time? Kage will definitely win. Uchiha Makoto said confidently. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 37 _ The forced Fuyue opened his eyes. Of course, during this period of time, many people in the family were bragging about how outstanding Uchiha Fugaku was, and he was a rare genius of the Uchiha family in 100 years. Uchiha Madara? A rare genius? But Uchiha Makoto still believes that Uchiha Kage is the best. After the two formed a seal of opposition, Uchiha Fuyue did not dawdle, and directly took out 3 kunai and threw it towards Uchiha Kage. Uchiha Kage did the same without showing weakness. 3 kunai were thrown, and the 6th kunai collided precisely in midair, and then fell to the ground one after another. Many people who watched this scene were stunned. How could Kuwa be so lost? Especially Uchiha Kage's behavior. No matter how you look at it, it looks like the 3 kunai thrown away, but it is exactly the kunai that hit Uchiha Fugaku. Obviously, Uchiha Kage's level is absolutely extremely high in terms of kunai throwing. Even Uchiha Fuyue felt resentful in his heart. How did this guy practice? He wanted to get close to Uchiha Kage, and wanted to win through close combat, but considering the previous battle between Uchiha Kage and Hyuga Hizu, even Uchiha Fugaku didn't have much confidence in physique Uchiha Shadow. Be careful. After thinking for a while, Uchiha Fuyue still opened his mouth to remind, and then his hands quickly formed a seal, took a sharp breath, fired dungeons, and then spit out a huge slap at Uchiha Kage fireball. And when Uchiha Fuyue started to form the seal, Uchiha Shadow also formed the seal quickly. Obviously it was later than Uchiha Fuyue, but it was at the same time as Uchiha Fuyue technique. Two huge fireballs collided in the center of the field, the scorching high temperature, and the burning ground screeched. This scene also stunned the audience on the side. Is this still an ordinary student? It is understandable that Uchiha Fuyue can do this step. After all, he is also a genius of the Uchiha family, and he is about to graduate. It seems to be a matter of course that he can master the fireball technique. But Uchiha Kage is different. He is only 7 years old. Now it is using a fireball that is not inferior to Uchiha Fugaku. So strong. Namake's Minato was also lost for a moment when he saw the scene. Sure enough, in the usual battle training before, Uchiha Kage didn't use his full strength at all. It seems that I have to continue to work hard in the future. Are you envious? At this time, a voice appeared in Minato Namake's. Minato looked up and found that there was a tall, but unfortunately a bit ugly young man beside him. Although he didn't know each other, but seeing the join and vest on the other side, Minato Namake said honestly, envy, but compared to Shadow, the gap is still too big. Perhaps? It was Jiraiya who came, and he smiled non-committally. Of course, Uchiha Kage was very good, but in Namake's Minato, he saw something different. It was Uchiha Kage not available. Well, he saw his original Shadow in Minato Namake's. Fortunately, Minato Namafang didn't know Jiraiya's thoughts. If he knew, he would definitely ask, where did he look like Jiraiya? It's interesting. Tsunade folded his arms and looked at Uchiha Fuyake with a playful face. This guy is actually competing with Uchiha Kage for chakra? Is this a joke? You know, there is probably no one in Konoha who has more chakra than Uchiha Kage. Uchiha Fuyue is constantly sending chakra into the fireball. Tsunade guessed right. He is indeed competing with Uchiha Kage for chakra. After all, he is much older than Uchiha Kage. He believes that Uchiha Kage's chakra is definitely not as much as himself. It's just that with the passage of time, Uchiha Fuyue's throat is about to burn. He is helpless to find that his chakra seems to be a little insufficient. But what about Uchiha Kage? He looks like chakra has many more looks. This makes Uchiha Fuyue unable to calm down. Can you do whatever you want with a riding wheel? Can't you really beat Uchiha Kage if you don't turn on the shaker? At this time, Uchiha Fuyue thought of a lot of things. If he loses to Uchiha Kage in this battle, his father should be very disappointed with him, and his father's promotion for him before will also become a joke. How much he was boasted in the Uchiha family before, Uchiha Kage will be more touted after that. Thinking of these, Uchiha Fuyue's mentality began to explode. A special emotion spread in Uchiha Fuyue's mind, and chakra began to pour out in large quantities. Is this an eye-opener? Tsunade and others noticed the situation of Uchiha Fuyake for the first time. They never thought that it was just a battle, and Uchiha Kage actually forced Uchiha Fuyue out of the shaker. And the chakra, which was originally exhausted by Uchiha Fuyue, has become rich at this moment. Episode 38 _ What's so happy about Shangoyu? Did you open your eyes? Even Uchiha Kage was stunned for a moment. This kind of eye-opening opened his eyes during the battle. As a result, Uchiha Fuyue opened his eyes directly because he was fighting with himself. This is definitely the treatment of the protagonist, right? However, this kind of treatment is still a bit big compared to me. It's open by itself. Immediately afterwards, as if they were tacitly aware, the two stopped the technique of releasing the fireballs one after another. The heat wave gradually subsided, which also made the surrounding audience slightly relieved. If this kind of battle continues, Uchiha Kage and Uchiha, there may be nothing wrong with Fuyue, and they, the audience, are about to die of heat. However, as expected of the Uchiha family, at a young age, if water. Prepare. Use, turn group 7, 6, 6, 0, 1, 8. 3 foot, 2, 0. There are so many chakra is gone, which is not something that ordinary people can compare to. Uchiha-ing, now you have opened the Sharingan, and I have also opened the Sharingan. I will prove that I am no worse than you, and I am the strongest genius of Uchiha. Uchiha Fuyue felt himself, the state of being strengthened by opening his eyes also showed an excited look on his face. One Erga Jade and one single Go Jade, is there such a thing to be proud of? Uchiha Kage was also speechless. But Uchiha Fugaku and Sasuke are really similar. Although he is also Uchiha, Uchiha Kage also has to admit that once Uchiha turns on the shaker, his personality will change dramatically, and he may even become a little morbid. When Uchiha Fuyue heard the words, his face was also dark. He thought that the other party was mocking him indeed. Uchiha-ing opened his eyes with double hooks. Does this mean that his talent is actually better than Uchiha-ing's? Poor. This is unacceptable to Uchiha Fuyue. He took a quick step forward, and at the same time took out a kunai in his hand, and stabbed it towards Uchiha Kage's chest. At this moment, Uchiha Fuyue, in terms of speed, must even better than the previous Hyuga Hizu. Obviously, because of the opening of the writing wheel, the strength of Uchiha Fuyue has also been greatly improved. It's just a pity, for Uchiha Kage, today's Uchiha Fuyue is still a little weaker in the face of Uchiha Fuyue's stab. Uchiha Kage faced it calmly, or even let it go on his chest. Be careful seeing this scene. Even Uchiha Makoto became nervous at the moment. If she was stabbed, even Uchiha Kage might be finished. Ninjas are a fragile profession. Even a shadow-level master, if accidentally hit by a genin, the shadow-level master will also die. They have not really improved their own life essence. In fact, Uchiha Fuyue was a little dazed at this time, he really wanted to defeat Uchiha Kage and hurt Uchiha Kage. There was no problem, but if he killed Uchiha Kage, it would not work. In doing so, even if his biological father is the Uchiha Patriarch, he will be in huge trouble. After all, Uchiha Kage is the son of Uchiha Mirror, and he is also a genius of the Uchiha family. But who could have imagined that the other party stopped moving at this time, as if he was letting Kuwa stab him in the heart. And when there was no hit, the figure disappeared with the sound of pong. Shadow clone? When? At this time, even Uchiha Fuyue was nervous. Two done heart decapitation accompanied by the falling of this voice. One hand has already grabbed the ankle of Uchiha Fuyue, and did not give the other party a chance to react at all, and pulled him into the ground. Only just a head was exposed. The figure of Uchiha Kage also appeared not far from Uchiha Fuyue, and said with a smile, "I accept it." Uchiha Fuyue's face became extremely ugly, and he lost. Even if the Sharingan is turned on, it is not the opponent of Uchiha Shadow. For some reason, Uchiha Fuyue feels that Uchiha Shadow is still hidden, and even stronger than he imagined. Such a guy, how can I defeat him? Win? Uchiha Kage's friends are a little confused at the moment. Most of them are a little confused about the process of Uchiha Kage defeating Uchiha Fuyue. When did Uchiha Kage create a shadow clone? Why don't they know? However, they are also happy for Uchiha Kage. Uchiha Fuyake, who is still very famous in school, is definitely a genius. Among the current ninja schools, the only one who can compete with Uchiha Fugaku is the son of Hokage-sama, Sarutobi Shinosuke, but at this time, facing Uchiha Kage, Uchiha Fugaku has lost. And he still lost after turning on the writing wheel, so the strongest person in the school is Uchiha Kage? It's amazing. Uzumaki Kushina looked at the figure of Uchiha Kage absent-mindedly, and seemed to be a little handsome. When did he use the shadow clone? At this time, not to mention other people, even Jiraiya was a little curious. He didn't see the seal of Uchiha's shadow avatar before. At the beginning of the battle, only then can it be done. At this time, Hatake Sakuma was the first to speak. His gaze towards Uchiha Kage was full of admiration. This boy has the potential to become a LYB, suitable for their umbu. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 39 _ comparable to Chunin? That is to say, when using the Huaduanhao fireball, Uchiha Kage is fighting with his shadow clone. This kind of thing is a bit too mysterious, but thinking about it carefully, it seems that it can only be explained in this way. After all, even White Fang said that there was no chance other than to seal at the beginning. Indeed, there seems to be no other time besides that time. At this time, Orochimaru also nodded slightly, expressing his approval of White Fang's point of view. This has set off a storm in the hearts of many people. Of course, the reason why Jiraiya didn't see it was because the person who played the game was not related to him. If Jiraiya were to fight in person, he would definitely be able to sense the problem of the shadow clone before. The corner of Uchiha Ying's mouth, who was standing on the ring, couldn't help but twitch. Is it really good for you to expose me like this? Sure enough, showing strength in front of the strong will always have problems of one kind or another. I am still not strong enough, and I need to make persistent efforts in the future. Ding, congratulations to the host for opening the command red envelope and obtaining the ninjutsu Chidori. Do you want to learn? At this time, a system prompt sound was also introduced into Uchiha Kage's mind. There is no mistake, the previous Uchiha Fuyue also had a command red envelope on his head, but compared to the ordinary command red envelope, Uchiha Fuyue the instruction red envelope is better to complete. In order to complete the task, Uchiha Kage also directly confronted Uchiha Fuyake. Of course, the main reason is that Uchiha Fugaku's previous behavior really annoyed Uchiha Kage. After this incident, it will cause some trouble to Uchiha Kage, but the harvest is not small. As for the Uchiha Patriarch, the old guy Uchiha Tagawa, will he take revenge on himself, then take revenge? At least for a long time in the future, he will not be able to take revenge on himself above board. After he graduates, he can do a little bit of hands and feet at that time. Do he still need to worry about Uchiha Tagawa's problem? He Uchiha Kage, but a super hooker. As for Uchiha Kage? Hehe, the Katy dogs at home are better than him. Learn. Uchiha Kage's mouth showed a hint of a smile, and then glanced around. Is anyone going to play? This sentence instantly silenced countless people, challenging Uchiha Kage like this? Isn't this a joke? Uchiha Fuyue is definitely a genius in the school, and later he opened the writing wheel, but what about Uchiha Kage? Not being abused? Ordinary people, how to fight Uchiha Kage? There should be no one, his strength is comparable to Chunin, or even stronger. Orochimaru said with a sigh. If possible, he would like to see more about Uchiha Kage's other means. He knew that Uchiha Kage hadn't used his full strength before, so what about his full strength? Is it comparable to Chunin? Others heard the words and completely died down, and they couldn't be provoked, but Uchiha Kage was now certified by Shonjin to have the strength of Chunin. How could they still go up to challenge without long eyes? Challenging the strong is very interesting, but if you challenge yourself, it is looking for abuse. It looks like there's no one left. Uchiha Kage sighed softly, and then walked off the ring. In fact, if possible, Uchiha Kage would not mind trying the Chidori he had just obtained at this time, but he was very unfortunately, no opponents let him do this. It's hard work. When Uchiha Kage returned to Uchiha Mikoto's side, Uchiha Mikoto also cast a gentle smile. Actually, it's not hard at all. Fuyue is not as strong as he imagined. Uchiha Kage smiled and shook his head. The corners of other people's mouths can't help but twitch. They have been abused by you, Uchiha Fuyue, but you say they are not strong. Sure enough, Uchiha Kage's heart is also black. Can't be bothered, can't be bothered. I've decided, Uchiha Kage, I will definitely challenge you in the future. At this time, Uzumaki Kushina looked at Uchiha Kage with burning eyes and said. Why did he say this? Even Uzumaki Kushina himself doesn't know, it seems, in order to make the other party pay more attention to him. Okay. Staring at Uzumaki Kushina's serious eyes, Uchiha Kage also chuckled, and the other party also had an instruction red envelope on his head, to help Uzumaki Kushina become the perfect nine-tailed man in the future. Therefore, it is inevitable that Uzumaki Kushina will become the Nine-Tails column force in the future. However, if it is a perfect human column force, if you work hard on your own side, it should be able to help Uzumaki Kushina become the nine-tailed human column force. Congratulations, Kage. At this time, Sarutobi Shinnosuke also came over to congratulate him. I saw Uchiha Fugaku upset before, and I planned to fight him, but I didn't expect that you would be the first. Brother Shinnosuke, I still belong to Uchiha. Uchiha Kage twitched the corners of his mouth, still reminding. Haha, right? You have to be careful after that, that guy from Fuyue has a bad temper. Sarutobi Shinnosuke also reminded D. Episode 40 _ the so-called Will of Fire. Can I think that you are trying to sow discord? Uchiha Kage's mouth twitched slightly, but he didn't take it seriously. Compared with Uchiha Fuyue, his relationship with Sarutobi Shinnosuke was obviously much better. The previous words were obviously joking. Haha, if you want to think so, you can. Sarutobi Shinnosuke smiled boldly. Obviously, he doesn't care much about this. Kage, can I go up? Suddenly, Uchiha Mikoto spoke eagerly at Uchiha Kage. Who do you want to fight? Uchiha Kage was also speechless. In fact, he said, Uchiha Mikoto's strength is not bad, and he has been practicing with Uchiha Kage all these years. At a young age, she is now also known as a talented girl from the Uchiha family. But today, her real strength should only be able to graduate, that is, the level of Xiamen for people of her age. It may already be very good, but there are all the students of the ninja school here, many of whom are near graduated students, with the strength of Uchiha Mikoto, seem to be a bit unattractive. Uchiha Mikoto did not directly answer Uchiha Kage's words, but just looked not far away. Uchiha Kage also looked over and found that there was a white-eyed girl about their age who was fighting with a student who was about to graduate, and has an advantage. There is no caged bird from the Hinata clan? Or from the clan? Even Uchiha Kage was stunned when he saw the girl. It's just why I don't know that the Hyuga clan still has such a person in the school. There are many people in the Hyuga clan, but they are divided into various lines, each line, and each generation has only one heir. Obviously, the other party is also the eldest lady of a certain line of the Hyuga clan. She is the granddaughter of the second elder of the Hinata clan. Uchiha Mikoto explained to Uchiha Kage, it is said that she is also a genius of the Hinata clan, 1 year older than us. So you want to challenge her? Uchiha Kage showed a clear look, and then he said with tears in his eyes, actually, this is completely unnecessary. There is no need to care about the so-called honor of the first family. If the strength is strong, others will naturally admire it. If there is no strength, even if you have such a title, you don't need to care, but it will bring harm to yourself. There is one thing to say, the current Uchiha family is indeed the first family of Konoha in terms of combat power, but what is the use of this? Can you beat Konoha? Can you fight other big families? Obviously impossible. However, her strength is really good, not weaker than Hizu and Hyuga. Uchiha Kage then said again. That's more interesting, isn't it? Uchiha Makoto showed a look of eagerness to try. Usually in the confrontation in the class, it is not that she has never fought with the two Hinata brothers, but usually it is 4 or 6. There is no way, in this period, the Hyuga clan is too dominant. In terms of body lifting, let alone the Uchiha clan, even the original Senju clan would not be the opponent of the Hinata clan. If, water, source, comma, group, 656, 6, 188, 9, 6. Preparation, use, turn, group, 7, 66-inch, 0, 1, 8, 3, 2, 0. And among the students of the ninja school, how many people can use a lot of attack ninjutsu? That's okay? Seeing Uchiha Makoto's appearance, Uchiha Kage knew that there was nothing to persuade, and fighting evenly matched opponents could indeed help them improve their strength. Soon, not only Uchiha Makoto, but Naoshu and the others also went to their respective poisons to fight after death. Many of them have also shown good strength, even if they are not young, but their strength is not bad at all. This also made many people face up to Uchiha Kage's class. This year's students seem to be surprisingly good. There are actually many students who have the strength to graduate early. Aren't you going to participate? At this time, Uchiha Kage also noticed the slightly cramped Uzumaki Kushina and said, I can feel your strength, so it should be pretty good, right? It may not even be worse than Makoto and the others. If you want to get everyone's approval, you have to get involved sometimes. Approval? Uzumaki Kushina showed a thoughtful look. Showing your strength is one of the best ways, although it may be contrary to the will of fire, but in this world, many people worship the strong. Of course, if you worship force too much, it will make people feel fearful. Force is not omnipotent, but without force it is absolutely impossible. After thinking about it, Kage Uchiha continued, we do take the initiative to use force to face other people in many cases, but that doesn't mean we don't develop force by ourselves. Uzumaki Kushina showed a thoughtful look. Just like Konoha, we are a peace-loving village, but the village has always been cultivating ninjas. Then, Uchiha Kage explained, if there are no such ninjas, the balance will be broken, Konoha will be attacked by other villages, so we must become stronger. You guy, your thoughts are similar to my second grandfather. Tsunade teased at this time. Episode 41 _ Sure enough, there is a Ganyu plot. Uchiha Kage is half a disciple of Tsunade, and Uzumaki Kushina is also a relative of Tsunade. Here, she naturally pays more attention, and after hearing Uchiha Kage's words, Tsunade is also a little dazed. To a certain extent, Tsunade feels that Uchiha Kage and his second grandfather, Chisho Tobarama, are quite similar. Moreover, Tsunade also believes that Uchiha Kage's words violated the will of fire, his second grandfather, and his teacher Sarutobi Hizen. Haven't they been doing this all these years? It's just that there are some things that are not suitable to say. If Konoha really doesn't like force, there's no need to keep the 9 tails at all. Wouldn't it be better to let it go? However, this guy Uchiha Kage really doesn't look like an ordinary Uchiha clan. At least compared to the general Uchiha clan, Uchiha Kage obviously has more brains. Hey! Seeing Tsunade's appearance, Kage Uchiha smiled, then turned his gaze to Jiraiya, took out the book he had prepared and handed it to Jiraiya, and said, this is I picked it up on the road, I think it's coming from you, you should like it. Oh? Jiraiya took the book and glanced at the name on the cover, Mr. Sarutobi, the concierge? What kind of weird name is that? However, his sense of Uchiha Kage was not bad, so he also opened it and read it, and then a cheap smile appeared on his face. A dead dog, amazing, so it can still be like this. Seeing Jiraiya's appearance, both Tsunade and Orochimaru showed a curious look, wanting to read the contents of the book, but this time, Jiraiya's response was very fast. He directly put this the book was put away, and then he pretended to be a gentleman, and said to Uchiha Kage, cough, this book is very good. But I need to take it back and study it. I will take it first, count me, I owe you this kid a favor. Okay. Uchiha Kage nodded slightly. Jiraiya seemed very satisfied. It seemed that he had not been in vain writing this novel some time ago. Ding, congratulations to the host for opening the command red envelope and obtaining an improved version of the Heavenly Flowers. Do you want to study? Hearing the sound of the system prompt, Uchiha Kage was also shocked when he heard the words, and at the same time called the good guy. I had drawn coconut milk several times before, but I never thought that this time, even Ganyu's ultimate move was drawn. Sure enough, he and Ganyu have a relationship. Worthy of their own willing complex, ah. However, this should be his first large-scale move, right? I just don't know if I will scare other people when I use this trick in the future after all. In this world, using ice attribute skills will be subconsciously considered by people to be ice done, and the most famous family who use ice done, or the Shui Wuyue clan. A member of the Uchiha family is using the ice escape. No matter how you think about it, it is against the law. Still, when you think about it, it seems quite interesting, doesn't it? Uzumaki Kushina finally chose to take the stage to challenge, and finally defeated a 4th grade student, which also made many people recognize some of the transfer students from other villages. This guy, saying that he wants to become Hokage, is a bit of a dream, but at least his strength is not bad. At least let Uzumaki Kushina not be looked down upon. And Uchiha Makoto had a fierce battle with the eldest lady of the Hyuga family, and finally ended in a draw with injuries on both sides, which was also expected by Uchiha Kage. However, Makoto still needs to continue exercising after that. In the evening of the same day, Uchiha Kage just returned home and was about to go out for a run with the catty dog. It has been a while since the catty dog hatched, and its strength is quite good. It's just a pity, in this world, there is no Pokemon ball, it is quite inconvenient to carry, and there is no fire stone, and I don't know how to evolve, which is a bit helpless. However, because of the fact that he often takes the catty dog out for a run, many people still know that Uchiha Kage has a ninja dog that looks quite good, and even people from the Inuzuka clan in the class have also asked Katie the origin of the dog, who wants to breed. Dong dong dong. Just when Uchiha Kage was about to go out, his door was opened, he felt a little, and then he opened the door quickly, and politely shouted, "Uncle Sarutobi." "Well, Yage, long time no see." Sarutobi Hizen walked in with a smile, showing a kind smile. "Why are you here?" Uchiha Kage looked at the other side curiously. During this period of time, although Sarutobi Hizen also came to find him a few times, most of them were in school, and it was true that he found his home very rarely after all. He was a Hokage and ran to the Uchiha clan at every turn. It's not a good thing to come. "It's not because of you, stinky boy," Sarutobi Hizen said angrily. However, even though he said that, Hiru Sarutobi didn't mean to blame Uchiha Kage for being cut down. After thinking about it, he also said, "Didn't you beat Uchiha Tagawa's son at school? I'm an uncle, of course he will come to stand for you, even though he doesn't seem to do anything. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription, oh so much I love you." Episode 42 _ Let the shadow enter the dark part. By the way, your strength is quite good now, have you considered graduating early? Then, Sarutobi Hizen asked Uchiha Kage again. "If I graduate early, I'm afraid it will be difficult to find suitable teammates. If I am in the wild team, they may be placed in the guard team. Even if I want to refuse, it will be difficult." Uchiha Ingwen was also stunned for a moment. He did not expect that Sarutobi Hizen would bring up this matter. However, thinking about it carefully, it seems to be a very normal thing. After all, his own strength is indeed a dimensionality reduction blow for the students in the ninja school. Is that so? Indeed. Sarutobi Hizen nodded slightly when he heard the words. The choice of teammates is very important. If there are no suitable teammates, or can't keep up with Uchiha Kage's teammates, then he is really not suitable for graduating early. Let Uchiha Kage graduate early, in order to better cultivate Uchiha Kage and enhance Uchiha Kage's strength. But if you can't build a good bond with your teammates, you won't have such strength. Sarutobi Hizen really believed in the emotion of bondage. However, it is indeed difficult to find a genius who is comparable to Uchiha Kage, at least not much worse than Uchiha Kage. It is necessary to find a genius who can keep up with Uchiha Kage's pace. Among the graduates in this class, there is no such existence. Rashu is qualified, as are the two brothers Hyuga. Of course, he is more optimistic about Minato Namika. Sarutobi Hizen feels that Namafang Minato will become a rising star in the future. In the future, he will become the mainstay of Konoha, together with Uchiha Kage. However, the current Namikaze Minato is still a little worse, and it can't keep up with Uchiha Kage's footsteps for the time being. This is a bit of a headache. Sarutobi Hizen rubbed his head. Even his son, Sarutobi Hizen, didn't feel such a headache. "Why don't you just throw Shadow and Shinosuke to Tsukumo and let him take him to Umbu to practice?" Then Sarutobi Hizen shook his head again. This would not work. It's not because the Uchiha family entered Umbu as an exception. After all, Uchiha Kage is not an ordinary Uchiha member. I believe that the Uchiha family is also very happy to see Uchiha Kage entering Umbu. After all, the Uchiha family really wants to enter the various departments of Konoha, but, before, no one can get out of this cage. The Uchiha clan still didn't understand. Only when they give up the Konoha guard department will they have the opportunity to get involved in other departments, and once they do that, it proves that the Uchiha family is willing to integrate into Konoha. The current Uchiha family, in many cases, feels like an existence outside the Konoha system. You can say that he is from Konoha, but in all aspects, the Uchiha family is too independent. A little out of tune with this village, they seem to still maintain the family form before Konoha was established. Not used to the existence of Konoha. Without understanding this, Konoha will not really accommodate the Uchiha family. I hope Uchiha Shadow can change Uchiha. It is precisely because of this that Uchiha Kage cannot enter Umbu. Once he enters Umbu, many of Uchiha Kage's later deeds will be hidden. He needs more prestige and more support within the Uchiha clan. Under such circumstances, Uchiha Kage can only live under the sun. At least for the time being. Forget it, let's take your time when it comes to your graduation. After thinking about it, Hizen Sarutobi said helplessly, by the way, there is also the matter of Uzumaki Kushina. What's wrong with her? Uchiha Kage was surprised. Did he want to keep himself away from the whirlpool Kushina? This is normal, after all. When he comes into contact with Uzumaki Mido, no one will say anything after all. That is Uzumaki Mido, Konoha's actual strongest. How do you need to worry about a Uchiha kid? But Uzumaki Kushina is different. She is still just a child, and if she becomes the nine-tailed Manjuri in the future, it will be very important. Her strength is not as good as Uchiha Kage. It doesn't matter if she has mastered the power of the nine tails, but if she has mastered it, she cannot let them touch Uzumaki Kushina for the time being. It's not a question of trust or distrust. You should see that her identity is very special, and there may be some people, even people outside the village, who will put their minds on her. I hope you can protect her. It seems to have thought of something, Ape-Face-Sun also said. This? Uchiha Kage's eyes widened when he heard the words. He didn't expect that Hizen Sarutobi would actually say such words. It seems that you have guessed something. Sarutobi Hizen smiled. There are indeed some people in Konoha who don't want Kushina to contact outsiders, especially your Uchiha clan. But I feel that Uzumaki Kushina is first of all a person with his own emotions. If 8-8, 9, 6, prepare, use, comma. Turn group 766018320 and you are here. If the future is if something is dangerous, you can help solve it too. Uchiha Kage said that he can't control the nine tails. D. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh so much I love you. Episode 43 Uchiha Shadow of Konoha. Seeing Uchiha Kage's expression of hesitating to speak, Sarutobi Hizen smiled and patted Uchiha Kage's shoulder. Of course, some people may have some criticisms about this matter, but I believe that you will become Konoha's Uchiha Shadow. You will inherit your father's will of fire. I will. Uchiha Kage immediately showed an excited look on his face when he heard the words. There is no way, the other party is his future big boss. If he doesn't behave well, he will not be able to become the boss's cronies in the future, or even become the new Konoha. What should I do if I talk to someone? Yeah. Sarutobi Hizen nodded slightly. His heart was still very tangled. How should he cultivate Uchiha Kage? Even his own son, Sarutobi Hizen, didn't have such a headache. One thing to say, even Sarutobi Hizen has to admit that Uchiha Kage is more important to Konoha than Shinosuke. Not only because of Uchiha's potential, but also because Uchiha is the key to solving Uchiha's problems. If the Uchiha family can truly integrate into Konoha, Konoha's strength will be much improved compared to today. Okay, it's almost time for me to leave. After the two of them chatted for a while again, Sarutobi Hizen stood up again and said, by the way, if you have time these days, please accompany Mido-sama more often. Well, he still likes you very much. Is time running out? Uchiha Kage's eyes flickered, and it seemed that the time was indeed almost up. He has always respected Uzumaki Mido. This great woman did not have anything to do with herself because she was a Uchiha clan prejudice. He even kept teaching himself. This is especially true of sealing techniques. You must know that sealing techniques are very rare, and it is almost impossible for ordinary people to learn sealing techniques. Of course, the sealing technique is also very demanding for ninjas, especially in terms of chakra control. With the teachings of Uzumaki Mido, who can almost be said to be the #1 sealing master in the ninja world, Uchiha Kage's sealing technique is quite good now. It can be said that Uzumaki Mido does not hide much from Uchiha Kage, except she didn't mind teaching Uchiha Kage some of the exclusive sealing techniques of the Maelstrom clan, as well as some undisclosed sealing techniques. Of course, Uchiha Kage himself also guessed some reasons. Maybe Uzumaki Mido is preparing for Uzumaki Kushina. Once she is gone, then Uzumaki Kushina is very likely to become the new nine-tailed person. At that time, it will be a question whether she can suppress the nine tails. Uchiha Kage has a riding wheel eye, and it is not impossible to open the kaleidoscope riding wheel eye in the future together with the sealing technique. It can also help Uzumaki Kushina to suppress nine tails. Yes, I understand. Thinking that Uzumaki Mido's days may be running out, Uchiha Kage's tone was also a little low. Seeing Uchiha Kage's appearance, Sarutobi Hizen nodded slightly, as expected of a shadow. He could understand what he meant at a young age. Then he thought of Uchiha Kage's answer on the ideological class exam a few days ago: firmly support Konoha led by the 3 generations of Hokage Sarutobi, and regard loving Konoha as a concept that is more important than his own life, etc. The content of Sarutobi Hizen also nodded with satisfaction. As expected of the Mirror Sun, his ideological awareness is really high. Well, write these words into your own books in the future. During this period of time, the troubles that Uchiha Kage blocked were not in vain. You must know that there are many people who are worried about letting the people of the Uchiha family contact Uzumaki Mido, especially his old friend Danzo, who has mentioned it to himself many times. Sometimes Sarutobi Hizen just can't understand why Danzo has a prejudice against Uchiha Kage. It is clear that Uchiha Kage is the descendant of Uchiha Mirror, their comrade in arms. Is it because he refused to give Uchiha Kage to him to train? Or did Danzo know about Uchiha Kage's transformation into a women's clothing Danzo? But it is impossible. Ing is also not that stupid, and would do such things outside. Maybe it's because of prejudice against the Uchiha clan. Thinking of the Uchiha family, Sarutobi Hizen also shook his head slightly. Since the mirror is gone, the Uchiha family has become more and more extreme. Many times they hold meetings to discuss some things, and the Uchiha family will take the lead in opposing it. The current Sarutobi Hibiki wants Uchiha to grow up as soon as possible, and then he builds momentum for Uchiha. Even if Uchiha cannot become the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, he can still have a huge right to speak within the Uchiha clan. At that time, the problems of the Uchiha family may also be solved. Alas, it's a pity that the filming age is still too young now. Sarutobi Hiru cut away. Uchiha Kage looked at his back with a thoughtful look, and then let out a chuckle, which seemed to be not bad. Through this contact, he knew that along with his gradual exposure of his strength, Hiruzen Sarutobi still supported him opposite. However, if Danzo is concerned, I will come to collect the interest. Do think there are some things, I don't know. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 44_Kushina is gone. Kage, Mikoto, you guys are early. The next day, when Uchiha Kage came to the classroom, Uzumaki Kushina showed a bright smile to the two of them. Morning, Kushina. Uchiha Mikoto gave Uzumaki Kushina a smile. On the other hand, Uchiha Kage just nodded politely. Seeing this, Uzumaki Kushina puffed out her mouth. For some reason, she felt that Uchiha Kage was not enthusiastic enough for her. At this time, shouldn't you give yourself a bright smile? However, for Uchiha Kage, Uzumaki Kushina is still very fond of him. After all, Uchiha Kage was the first person to speak up for himself yesterday. In the same way, the other party also taught him how to get along with those classmates in Konoha. Since he fought, Uzumaki Kushina can clearly feel that those classmates don't have the same rejection towards him as before. Kage, tell you something. Just when Uchiha Kage sat down, Rouge turned his head and said, "Oh? What's the matter?" Uchiha Kage looked at Rope Tree curiously. In the class, Rope Tree's intelligence network is the most outstanding. Generally, Rope Tree can know about the wind at the first time. Minato, he was accepted as a disciple by Big Brother Jiraiya. Shinshu said nervously. Oh? Uchiha Kage also looked at Namake's Minato thoughtfully. If it looked like this, it was understandable that Minato was accepted as a disciple so early. After all, in the original novel, Uzumaki Kushina was taken away by Yunren, and was rescued by Minato Namafang. If Namake's Minato's strength is insufficient, then it must be impossible to defeat Yunren. Obviously, the strength of Namake's Minato was already quite good at that time. And for a commoner ninja like Namake's Minato, if there is no teaching from a famous teacher, it is impossible to have such strength at a young age. Master Jiraiya said that he was very optimistic about me, so he accepted me as a disciple. Minato Namake said a little embarrassedly. For a commoner like him, this is definitely a rare opportunity. Jiraiya is not only the elite Chunin in the village, but also the disciple of Lord Hokage. Namake's Minato had no reason to refuse at all. For Minato, this is a rare opportunity. Maybe in the near future, Minato will be even better than you, Rouge. Uchiha Kage said with a smile. Really? I'm looking forward to it. Rouge didn't care much about Uchiha Kage's words. He had confidence in himself. Although he could follow Jiraiya's practice after Namake's Minato, he also had his sister to teach him. Even grandma occasionally points herself. And the most important thing is that, with Rope Tree's character, he won't be jealous of whether his friend's strength will catch up with him. If he is really stronger than himself, he will bless Namake's Minato, and then work hard to improve his strength, and then surpass the opponent. Minato was accepted as a disciple by Jiraiya, so Orochimaru, when will he find him? Now it is almost certain that he and Shinshu will become Orochimaru's disciples, so what about the remaining one? According to this trend, Orochimaru may accept 3 disciples after all. 2 of the team's disciples are Orochimaru's disciples, and the other one is not, so the influence is not good after all. It's just a pity that Uchiha Kage didn't wait for Orochimaru, but waited for huge trouble. Another half a year passed before I knew it this day. Uchiha Kage was shopping in the commercial street with Katie. Well, he ran out of meat at home, and he needed to buy more. You know, now he not only wants to eat, but Uchiha Makoto often runs to her side to eat and drink, and even other friends are coveting the food Uchiha Kage cooks, often will come to grab the food in the Uchiha Kage bento. To this end, Uchiha Kage prepares more every day. And Katie's food is also a major problem in this world. There is no Pokemon food for this reason. Uchiha Kage can only buy all kinds of high-quality meat and some special dog food for Katie. It's just a pity that the Inuzuka clan in the class refused to share their dog food with Uchiha Kage, otherwise, Uchiha Kage wouldn't have to worry about Katie's food. And just when Uchiha Kage was buying meat, Uchiha Makoto hurried over. Kage, it's really nice of you to be here. What's wrong? Uchiha Kage looked at Uchiha Makoto suspiciously. Didn't you go shopping with Kushina to buy clothes? What's the matter? What about Kushina? Kushina, she's gone. Uchiha Makoto said with a sad face. What, winky face? This time, even Uchiha Kage was shocked. He didn't expect such a thing to be encountered by himself. Could it be that Uzumaki Kushina met the #1 kidnapper group in the ninja world? Well, although the future Orochimaru is indeed good at fooling children and is a well-known human trafficker in the ninja world, but Yunren is no worse than Orochimaru, and even Uchiha Kage hates Yunren more. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 45_defection? Haven't become a ninja yet? Yunren has done a lot of stealing things in the original book. Not only Naruto's mother, but also Naruto's future daughter-in-law was kidnapped by Yunren. According to Uchiha Kage's understanding, it seems that Yunren once tried to kidnap the children of the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan. Not only Konoha's children, as the shinobi village with the most blood and the limit, Wu Shinobi village often encounters Yun Shinobi's behavior of kidnapping children. What's going on? Uchiha Kage hurriedly asked Uchiha Makoto. I went to buy clothes with Kushina. She went to the fitting room for an interview, but she didn't come out for a long time. I urged her and found that she didn't respond. After that, I broke in and found no one. Uchiha Makoto burst into tears. After getting along during this period of time, Uchiha Makoto has long regarded Uzumaki Kushina as her best friend. Now that she knows that something may have happened to Kushina, how can Uchiha Makoto feel at ease? And the most important thing is that both himself and Uzumaki Kushina actually have the strength to graduate early and become genin, but they didn't even have a chance to react, and Kushina was kidnapped. Kushina didn't call for help, and she didn't find anything. How could Uchiha Makoto not worry about such a thing? Take me to the location where Kushina appeared at the end first, and then I'll let Katie come to find it. Uchiha Kage's eyes also became serious. He was not sure if Uzumaki Kushina was taken away by Yunren as he was originally. It is even more impossible to know whether there will be Namikaze Minato to rescue Kushina this time after all. After this time, Uchiha Kage also discovered the relationship between the two, because the arrival of his own butterfly, there was no original met. Uzumaki Kushina is not excluded, and with Uchiha Makoto as a friend, she will not feel lonely. As for Namikaze Minato, he didn't have a crush on Uzumaki Kushina. Now he regards Uchiha Kage as his goal, and under the guidance of Jiraiya, he trains hard. Fully implement the principle of no woman in the heart. Ninjutsu is a natural god. During this period, if water, resource, source, group, 6, 5, 6, 6, 1, 8, 8, 9, 6. Preparation, use? In the turn group, 7, 6, 6, 0, 1, 8, 3, 2, 0, Namikaze Minato had Jiraiya's teaching, so he like a sponge that lacks water, it keeps filling up after encountering water. The strength has also improved a lot. What a genius like him lacks is the guidance of a famous teacher. Once Namikaze Minato is given a good platform, his strength will increase rapidly, just like it is now. Now he can catch up with the trio of pigs, deer, and butterflies. Don't underestimate Chiou Doutingswa and the others, their strength is still quite good. How many of the ninjas who can be named in the future are weak? In the future, they will all be high-ranking people in Konoha. But Namikaze Minato has now caught up with them, which shows that his talent is indeed quite good. Of course, if you want to catch up with the Rope Tree and the Hinata brothers, you need to continue to work hard. Okay. Uchiha Makoto hurriedly brought Uchiha Kage to the clothing store where they were before. Is there anything Kushina used? Uchiha Kage hurriedly asked Uchiha Makoto. Yes, yes. Uchiha Makoto said quickly. She took out a coat and said, this is the clothes Kushina asked me to take before. Katie. Uchiha Kage took the clothes and put it in front of the nose of the Katie smelled it, and then barked, "Wow. Run in one direction. Mikoto, go to the Hokage office and tell Uncle Sarutobi what happened here, and say that something happened to Kushina. I believe no one will stop you." Uchiha Kage also followed directly, also facing Uchiha Mikoto exhorted. "Okay, you have to be careful," Uchiha Mikoto said quickly. Uchiha Mikoto is very confident about Uchiha Kage's strength, but there is no guarantee that something will go wrong. It is necessary to find Hokage-sama. Catty Dog saw Uchiha Kage following up, and it also accelerated and ran in a blink of an eye. They came to the corner of Konoha, and then Catty went straight out. Uchiha Kage didn't care whether there was any the problem with the enchantment, also jumped over the wall and ran out. This behavior was quickly noticed by the enchantment class and quickly reported to the corresponding staff. After the staff knew that it was Uchiha's child, they also reported the incident to Hinzaki Sarutobi. What? Kage Uchiha ran out of Konoha? Sarutobi Hizen was also stunned when he heard the news. He still knows Uchiha Kage very well, that child. It seems that there is absolutely no need to leave Konoha. Didn't he know that leaving Konoha rashly without getting the formalities would be defined as treason? Oh, it doesn't seem right. After all, Uchiha Kage hasn't become a ninja yet. And he knows Uchiha Kage, that is a good boy, there must be something wrong. At this time, Uchiha Mikoto ran to Hokage's office and asked to meet Hokage Umbu, who was guarding the door, also knew about Uchiha Kage, and also reported the matter to Sarutobi Hizen, and Mikoto successfully met. When he arrived at Sarutobi Hizen, he told Sarutobi Hizen about Kushina.